Hey everybody, welcome back to another Deck Profile Friday. This one is the 37th one I've done, so we're getting close to that number 40 mark and a little bit closer to that 50 mark, so which is absolutely awesome. But today I want to cover a deck that it's an older deck for this format, which is the Sword and Shield-on format. It kind of fell off the map with all the fighting type Pokemon and just the fact that it's easily dealt with, with the Stadium card Path to the Peak, right? So it's very Path to the Peak susceptible, but we do play counter stadiums for that, and as well as collapse stadium, which obviously reduces bench size. So if that doesn't give it away, then I'll tell you that it's a dark type as well. So, and yeah, it's one of my favorite archetypes. I've had this deck for a long time, probably a year and a half or so. I absolutely love this archetype when it came out, and it's literally the boss of bosses. That's what I call it for Pokemon. It's literally one of the best Pokemon in the game, in the video games, that is. So, without further ado, let's get into the deck profile, and we are playing Eternatus. So, we do have 3 of the VMAX, and then 3 of the V. So we actually dropped it down this time, right? Just to make room for some other things, right? The ability is getting shut off, right? The Eternal Zone, but we'll get to that in a second. The regular V there is actually pretty good. 220. Power Accelerator, colorless for 30. Attach a Dark Energy card from your hand to one of your bench, which is awesome. And then Dynamax Cannon does 120 for a Dark and 3 colorless. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon VMAX, it does 120 more. So capable of 240 for 4 energies on a V Pokemon, which is really good. And then everything else is average, like the retreat cost, resistance, weakness as well. And then we got the VMAX here, right? We got 340 HP, which is monstrous. For how large it is, having a 3 retreat cost is actually pretty decent, right? It's a lot better than 4 or 5. Right, no resistance, which is unfortunate, and weakness to fighting is not terribly bad. There are some fighting Pokemon that are being played, like Hisuian Decidueye and Urshifu, right? But it's still actually a pretty decent weakness. And then its Eternal Zone ability allows you to play up to 8 Pokemon on your bench, with the restriction of them being dark type, which goes well with its attack, Dread End. This attack does 30 damage for each of your dark Pokemon in play, right? And so it includes itself in it, right? So meaning if you have a bench full of 8 Pokemon and him active using that attack, you're dealing 270 damage, which is huge. It's crazy. And it knocks out pretty much every V Pokemon. And then it's only 10 damage shy from a V star, right? For most of the V stars, right? Arceus and Palkia specifically. Everything else like Darkrai and whatever else, Decidueye, right? That's being played, it'll knock them out pretty easily. So anything that's 280, you need to do a little bit more, which this deck can do. So that's the VMAX. Then we have our draw card here in Crobat V. You need to play 4, right, for that Dark Asset ability, right? You draw cards until you have 6 in your hand, and you can only use it once per turn, that ability. Meaning you can't play multiple Crobats. 180 HP, which is okay. It sucks because it's really easy to get knocked out with like Boss's Orders and Arceus V-Star's Trinity Nova, right? But almost every deck plays Crobat, so everybody takes that same risk, right? 1 retreat, no resistance, and weakness to fighting, which is pretty much average. The 1 retreat there is a little bit weird because most of the Crobats don't have a retreat cost, so that's a little bit surprising, but it is what it is. Then we have the another support Pokemon and Galarian Zigzagoon. So this is how we increase that damage to 280, right? This is one of the ways. Yeah, and other than that, that's like the only thing that we use it for. We don't use it for a surprise attack or anything else, right? But everything else with the card is pretty much average. Two Galarian Moltres V, another really awesome attacker, right? Dire Flame Wings is an amazing ability that lets you attach a dark energy card from the discard pile to it. It's its own dark patch. And then Aura Burn there for 190, right? So it actually makes us a decent starter too, right? Because if you start with it, you attach, you Quick Ball or Ultra Ball away a dark energy, right? Get a Pokemon, you get that energy back with Dire Flame Wings. And then next turn, you have attachment Boss's Orders on whatever your opponent's trying to charge up, right? If it's an Arceus V or a Palkia V, knock it out really easy, right? If you play a choice band with it, right? Keep that in mind. You do need to play a choice band, right? And then everything else with it is pretty much average. Weakness to grass is actually a really good weakness right now, as there's not a lot of grass Pokemon being played, right? There might be an increase in grass with the new Giratina deck, so Leafeon may combo with it because it does use grass energy. But other than that, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good card. Okay, we have another attacker in Hisuian Samurott V-Star. Right, so the V there is actually pretty good. Average everything, HP, resistance, and weakness, and retreat. Basket Crash for a dark. Discard up to 2 Pokemon tool cards from your opponent's Pokemon, so that's pretty neat. Shadow Slash there. For 3 darks, does 180. Discard an energy from this Pokemon. That's cool, but it's mainly there to go into the V-Star. Right, so 270 HP. Merciless Blade does 110 for 2 darks. And if your opponent's active Pokemon already has damage counters on it, this attack does 110 more damage. So it's 2 energies for 120, right? Or pardon me, 220, which is awesome, right? And then Mooncleave Star, right? You may put 4 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So that can increase it to 260. And then with a Choice Belt, right? You're hitting that 290 range with a couple Zigzagoons, right? Getting a KO on an Arceus V-Star or Palkia V-Star and soon to be Giratina V-Star is very easily achievable, right? The other thing too that's really cool is you actually get to use your V-Star power, right? You're allowed to use a V-Star power once per game, right? And prior versions of Eternatus didn't have a V-Star power, right? If you look at, let's say, the Brilliant Stars meta, right? They didn't play V-Stars, but now you can actually play a really good Dark V-Star, right? Another option too that you could do is just swap it out with Darkrai V-Star. That's not a bad option either. And that is that. And then lastly, the two single prizers, because we want to have a way to deal with Miltank, is Galarian Moltres V and Hoopa, right? Hoopa there is 120 HP, retreat cost of 2, resistance to nothing, weakness to grass, assault gate for just a straight 90. And it has the condition, if this Pokemon didn't move from the bench to the active spot this turn, this attack does nothing. So it has to be during your turn, right? Meaning not after a knockout, right? Because that's in between turns. And then the Moltres there, 120 HP as well. Same retreat cost, resistance, and weakness. And then it has the Malevolent Charge ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, during your turn you may attach up to 2 Dark Energy cards from your hand to this Pokemon. And then for 2 Darks and a Colorless, Fiery Wrath does 20. And it does 50 more for each prize card your opponent has taken. So it's a great late game attacker, right? If they've taken 5, right, you're hitting for 270 with that, right? With a Zigzagoon, right? It gets you once again to that magic 280, right? And that's the number that you're trying to hit, is that 280 mark. And that is it. A couple options from the new set, right? That's coming out, this weekend, right? So actually, like today, which is Lost Origin, right? There's a Spiritomb in there, right? Which does, I think it's 60 more for two Darks for each Spiritomb your opponent, or pardon me, you have in a discard pile, right? That's actually pretty decent, right? It's a pretty decent single prize attacker, right? But the problem is it does require space in your deck, right? And I actually have it right here. Yeah, so if this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. So that's a really good ability, Curse Message. And then their Chain of Spirits does 60 damage for each, 60 more damage for each Spiritomb in your discard pile. So for 2 energies, it'll do 190, right? Which is really good for a single prize Pokemon. So, and then everything else is pretty much average with the retreat cost, resistance, weakness, and the HP as well. So that's the card there. So that's an option to play, but you do have to dedicate 4 bench spots to it. Then on to the trainers, supporters, and stadiums, right? We have 4 Marnie. We have 4 Professor's Research, 3 Boss's Orders, and 1 Raihan for the supporters. Right, so Marnie and Research is because you need draw, right? Really simple, right? You don't want to be path locked and too dependent on that Crobat, right? And being too dependent on that Crobat means you're just not going to be able to draw cards. So that's why we play 4 of each. Boss's Orders is to get that KO on whatever we need to, and Raihan is a great comeback card. So next we have our stadium, right? Now the stadiums, there's a few options that you can do, right? I've seen playing the Galarian Weezing, right, from Shining Fates and Darkness Ablaze there with Galar Mine to I think pretty much ability lock them, right, and have them not be able to retreat, right? You can do that, right? I've seen some play Shopping Center to, what's it called, to move the tools around. I've seen some play Tower of Darkness for the single strike version where it plays the Umbreon VMAX. right? Or even training court as well to get that back, those dark energies. I've chosen to go a little bit of a different route, and I've chosen to play 4 Temple of Sinnoh, right? Because just because it's great to cancel special energy. All special energy attached to Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, provide 2 colorless energy and have no other effect. Right? I think this is a great path counter. I think it's a great Arceus counter or anything that uses double turbo. I think it's great versus Fusion Strike decks, right? So Mew VMAX, as it makes our Fusion Strike energy just blank, right? Rapid Strike, obviously, in the Rapid Strike energy, right? And then Single Strike and the Single Strike energy, as well as Capture energies as well. Lots play Capture energy. That just pretty much makes it colorless, right? So it's really easy to deal with, right? And you need to be playing 4 stadiums because the decks that are playing Path to the Peak right now, right? They're playing 4. Look at the Arceus Flying Pikachu, Hisuian Decidueye Worlds list by Andre Scubel, right? The ADP list, 2022 ADP. It played 4, so you need to be playing 4. And then because they are playing 4, right, you want to let them play their stadium first, so that way you can counter it, right? Do not be the one who plays your stadium first. Let them play it first, because at the end of it, your stadium will be the last stadium in play. And that's the stadium, and then on to the just the trainer cards. 4 Quick Ball, 4 Ultra Ball, 3 Dark Patch, 2 Air Balloon, and 2 Choice Belt. Really simple. Some things that you could possibly include in here are Battle VIP Pass, right, for a little bit of a turbo version, right, and Trekking Shoes, which is another really good one, right. If you wanted to build it similar to a Darkrai list, you probably could, right, but the problem with that is that Darkrai requires a lot more energy in play, right, and you don't have to have as many Pokemon in the deck, where here you require more Pokemon in play, but you don't have to have a whole lot of energy in the deck, right? So I think that they'd be better off if you just had their own specific versions, right? So this is cool. Another option might be to put an Ordinary Rod, right, to get the Pokemon back. And yeah, that is it for the trainer supporters and stadiums. So Pokemon Search, 2 less retreat, plus 30 to V Pokemon, and attach a dark from your discard to one of your bench dark Pokemon. So that is that. And then lastly, we have the energy cards, right? The energy cards are really easy. Obviously, we're playing dark energies. So we are playing 7 darks and then 2 hiding. So hiding is just another way to give our Pokemon free retreat. So I like playing between 3 and 4 switching cards or retreat cost lowering cards in the deck, right? And we have 2 Air Balloon and then 2 hiding in here for a total of 4. So really good. That is the deck. So yeah, this is the deck. It's pretty cool, right? I'm not too sure how it'll perform coming with Astral Radiance, right? I think that it still might have a tough time just because of the amount of powers there are going to be, right? So if we eventually reach a point where the best decks that are being played aren't going to be using abilities, right, then we will see a drop in Path to the Peak use, right? And if that's the case, Eternatus will come back, and it'll be strong, and it'll probably be one of the best decks in the format. So that's my prediction. But yeah, as of right now, I think it can go toe-to-toe with a lot of decks, right? You just have to try it out, and you just have to find the right list that that suits you, right? So this is just an example. There are lots of ways to play it, right? You can play the Lipard one where you draw the cards. You can play the Galarian Weezing one. You could have more of a Galarian Moltres type one, and like a Clara build, right? Just to focus on the single prize one, right? You can play it with Darkrai, right? There's even the new Spiritomb. There's or Single Strike, right? There's a lot of ways, and it's in terms of like what can you do with it. It's honestly one of the best types in the game to actually do that, right? Because there's just so many options. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you see, leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I'm always trying to produce some good quality videos, and yeah, I want you guys' feedback or your girl's feedback, and you know, if you think that there's a way that I can improve my channel or improve the quality of my videos, then let me know. Or if there's something that you want to see as well, right? I can do that too. And yeah, awesome. So don't forget to tune in to this Sunday where we will be doing a Lost Origin opening. I'm not going to say what, but it's going to be pretty epic. So, all right. Thank you so much again, and see you in the next video.